Hey everybody!
Good morning!
Welcome to Tipster Tuesday. We are live from Green Lake, Wisconsin.
Woohoo!
We are on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we do a Live Naturally vacation. We bring our Live Naturally staff, and Jenna's whole family comes, my whole family comes, and we have a ton of fun with our kids, and then we mastermind and discuss how we're going to grow Live Naturally for the future. So we're excited. We just got here yesterday, and so we're kicking off with Tipster Tuesday before we dive into some boating and then some really fun business planning.
Yes, and it's true lake life because Dana's in her disguise.
Yep.
And
no makeup. Maybe I showered.
I haven't brushed my teeth yet.
So
sorry.
It's okay.
I had to choose between hair and teeth, and I chose hair.
I chose hat and teeth. My teeth are clean. So
I did use beadlets.
Oh, well, okay, that's good. Lake life.
All right, so we have lots of questions that we're going to jump in and answer. So thanks for submitting your questions.
Yes.
The first one is from Nikki, and she asks, what is your system for training new builders?
Oh, I love this question. It's appropriate because we're actually have been working on, and one of the things we're working on this week is modifying our little roadmap to success. So how we train new builders is we have Roadmap to Success, and it is a 6-week course that once someone is committed to building, once they are saying like, I definitely want this, I'm very interested in this, we have them go through the sequence of training, and it's 6 weeks for it. It's designed to help really like strengthen their foundations. So we're just editing it right now it's still live on our website. It's something you can click on and open and download and work through. And it's free right now. So if you want to jump into that, you should, because soon it'll be a paid download because it's a chunky course with loads of videos of Jenna and I. But it's just designed to help like lay the doTERRA foundation really, really well. What else do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's great training. As we've gone through it, we've just figured out things that we would tweak. So we're just tweaking, updating videos, doing things like that to make it even better. One thing I would say, though, about starting new builders is that it really is individual. You know, this business is a relationship business. So you have to tailor your starting new people to them and to what works for them. For some people, they might love to follow a specific course like that exactly as it is. Some people might be a little bit more free-spirited, and so you can have them direct them to the videos but you might need to tailor it differently based on the person. Some people, you got to find out where they want to go and tailor it to how quickly they want to move. You know, if someone wants to be diamond in a year, it's doable, but it's going to require a different level of commitment and work than someone who wants to be silver in a year. So you need to talk about what do they need, what are their goals, figure that out, and then tailor your training to them. That would be something that I think we both do, is we don't just have okay, well, this is what we do exactly like this every single time. We very much tweak it and tailor it to the person to make it what they need for being able to get started.
For example, I have a brand new builder in Seattle ready to start, but I can't get out there right now. We're moving next week. There's just no way I can get to her. But she's very confident. She's ready to teach on her own. So instead of necessarily me teaching and she watching me teach and things like that, she's been going through Roadmap to Success and watching some tutorials and the videos. But I just sent her a Build Naturally bundle, which we can order on our website. I sent one of those to her to give her all the tools she needs. So my way of supporting her is a little bit different. Whereas if someone was local, I might be at their first 3 or 4 classes too, to help them really get their feet wet with teaching. And so it really is individual. And I think we can actually run into some problems with keeping builders in our organization, which was another question, is like, what do you do when builders fizzle out? Because we treat them all the same. You know, it's like we do X, Y, Z, and the truth is people are not the same. Their strengths are different. When I was first starting to build, that was another question, is what was like some regret. And I think one of the things that I would say is I thought like we're all going to do this the same way. Like this is how we do a class and this is how we don't do a class and this is how we do this and this is how we don't do this. And sorry, I'm like remembering all your questions. There was another question about what do you do with like rogue builders? And like, I think this all goes into the same conversation, because the truth is like, not everyone is going to do it the same as you. And it is totally okay if you are I teach a class, I do this, I'm a very systemized person, and it is totally okay if you are like artsy and every class has to be different and you thrive on the creative end of it. At the end of the day, I think the only thing that really, really matters is people are educated about essential oils, they're cared for well as customers, and you're growing your organization with income producing activities. Because I would say for me to do different classes constantly, like that would de-energize me. That would actually make me tired. I wouldn't like that. However, for somebody else, what looks like work to me is actually joy to them. Sure. And if they are finding joy in it, like I'm kind of like, well, just do what gives you joy, and it's totally okay. So all that to say, Roadmap to Success is phenomenal, but it actually might not fit everybody.
Right.
And that's cool with us.
Totally okay. One thing I will say that will save you a whole lot of frustration is when you first have someone come to you to say, I want to build, what do I do? Don't take them into a builder training program right off the bat. The very first thing that you do is just say, great, host a class. That's a first step. Okay. Because that part right there is going to help identify if they truly want to build or not, because you're going to find out a lot about their desire to build based on the energy that they put in to making that a really great class, and you're not overwhelming them with all these things to learn. You're letting them focus in on inviting, doing great inviting, and setting up a great class. You come in and you do the teaching, and you'll just see what kind of influence they have based on the outcome of that class. And so then after that class, then you can say, okay, great, this was a phenomenal class. Let's now jump into this Roadmap to Success, or let's start your training. If it goes terribly, then I would just say, why don't you host another class, and let's work on inviting. Let's talk through how to do this really well. Let's go through your list together, but don't take them from a really first class into the Roadmap to Success, because in that they're going to be doing a lot more classes. And if they haven't really even done one well, then you're going to have a hard road, and you're going to end up maybe even spending a lot of time for nothing, because you have to kind of identify right away, is this person someone that has some influence people together to learn about this? You want to identify that right away.
And somebody did ask, like, what was some regrets in our journey? And I really loved our journey, and our journeys have been very parallel to each other. We've built a lot alongside one another and with each other. We've grown together. So, but our journeys are still different. But I would say one thing I do regret is overloading new builders too quickly and being like, oh my gosh, do you want to build? I can't wait. I'm so excited. Thank God I needed a builder. And I throw up goodness all over them, but it's still throw up. You know what I mean? So they're still it's too much. And I would say this is the approach that we both take now is great, let's have a class. Let's see how that goes. Otherwise, what is happening is you're going to overwhelm them with your excitement, your passion, your enthusiasm. And, they might, because of that, no matter how great you are and how great doTERRA is, they might go to another company where they feel a little less of the overwhelm.
Totally.
And that is the last thing you would want. So I just want you just to be very careful with that. I saw a question pop up. So we wouldn't give the launch guide. We don't, because we don't need to. Personally, with Live Naturally system, it flows with all of our training and the way that we speak and the verbiage that we have. And so I'm not even super familiar with doTERRA's launch guide. I haven't looked into it a ton. We haven't used it because we already have Roadmap to Success, and that has worked so great. So,
and again, it's just our philosophy is keeping things really simple. And I think with new builders too, that's totally something that we see all the time, because we've done it ourselves, and so we've learned that it doesn't work. But overwhelming someone who says they want to build, it's like we're all of a sudden all over them, and that's stifling. It makes people want to run away. Think about it like a relationship. If you when you're younger and you really like this guy and you realize oh my gosh, he likes me too, and then you just become this
Do you want to get
freakazoid.
married?
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh,
Should we
I want to have
homeschool?
4 kids. How many do you want to, you
Oh,
know? And all of a sudden he's like,
disgusting.
he's out of there. He's gone with the wind because you overwhelmed it. We don't want to do that with our
So
new builders. Okay, you kind of play it cool. Okay, if someone says they want to build, oh, just be like, oh,
yeah, you
sweet,
got lots
that's
of
awesome.
options.
You
You can
know,
play the
it's
field.
fine. Let's host a class. That's the first thing you should do. Just see how it goes. You know, be cool. That's my tip with new builders. Be cool. Okay.
It's a good tip.
All right.
It's a good tip.
So next, someone asked, how do you encourage leaders who seem to be stepping back a bit?
Oh yeah, that's such a great question. For me, it just depends. Again, everyone is individual. So remember that when we give you these answers, everyone is very different. But for me, anytime I have a leader that feels disengaged, I always go back to spending time with them, period. I don't try to send them TED Talks or send them Tony Robbins clips, you know, like I'm not doing that. It's probably that our relationship needs to grow. And so if possible, if they're local, you know, I'm like, hey, we haven't connected in a long time. Let's have lunch. Let's have coffee. How are you? Just give them a phone call. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, like these relationships are so valuable and they matter so much. And so I would just say, go back to just nurturing a relationship in general. Reach out for the sake of reaching out. Reach out to see how they're doing. Because the truth is, there's always so much more going on in people's lives than just doTERRA. And it probably has nothing to do with doTERRA, why they maybe are disengaged, or maybe it is something. Maybe they just haven't felt connected, you know, with their team or with you or something like that. And, you know, sometimes seeing people in person, like face to face, you know, having lunch or whatever can solve like all the problems, you know? And so that's one thing I would do is just reach out, connect, find time to spend time together, even if you can't one-on-one. One of the things that we both do, Ginna has, she hosts like all of her builders at her house. Usually it's at your house once a month for like, they get together, they plan for the next month, they prep host gifts and all kinds of stuff. So she has that. And I just started this because we're just moving into a big enough space, but we have like all of our silvers and above coming over just for a day of like work together. Let's all work together. Bring your computers, bring your to-do lists. I'll feed you. But I have no agenda. We're not actually doing anything except for like being together. And the act of being together and laughing together and sharing stuff, like it builds deep bonds that will take you so much farther than just if your relationship is just about business. And so we're both very relational people. The people we build with are our friends. Like we truly, truly love them. We feel like we are so close to them. We want to grow with them. We care so much about them. And that can get messy too when you're like, you know, you're so close to people, but it's worth it. And I'd rather have that than like a just strictly business relationship with them. So yeah, that's my advice. Do you have more?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, definitely. Also, just we don't always know what's going on in people's lives, you know? And so I just think, again, be cool. Don't freak out. You know, don't apply tons of pressure. Give people space. Sometimes they just need a little space, and be a friend during that time that you're giving them space, you know? Because, and you're not being a friend in a manipulative way, like you're just being a good person. And a lot of times, I mean, what we have is a great opportunity. It always is a great opportunity. And yeah, it's not ideal if people are stopping and starting. That's going to slow their progress. We know that. But at the same time, we can't force something to happen. And so you have to be able to give people space in their business to kind of go through their own journey. And just, you know, you're always going to be there when they're ready to link arms with you and join hands again. So just, you know, continuing to support them in whatever way that you can. Don't freak out. Don't be passive aggressive. Don't, you know, try to like she said, don't be sending personal development and stuff for that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with our kids. It doesn't work with our spouses. It doesn't work with our builders, you know? So just be a good friend and support, and hopefully they will come back to you. A lot of times they do. Also, I saw a comment about going back to our last one. if we do the business consult with people, or if we just have them host a class, I have them host a class, and then after that class, then I would do the business consult. Right. That's where I do the business consult, because they've gotten their feet wet, they've kind of seen what it's about, and then you can reference some things. So like the people that enrolled at your class, that's the fast start, that's what you're earning from that, you know, and you can reference it, you can talk it through. That's really when I dive into that. There are going to be times where someone's just really interested in the business and they want to hear about it, where you might do the business consult first. So there's no hard and fast rules with this. Again, it's individual. We don't have, you know, 10 steps that we follow. We really gauge it on the person and where they want to be and what they want to do.
Yeah,
so
great advice.
Okay, so next is how do you track your contacts, leads, prospects, and your customers?
Oh, I wish we would have brought our book.
I know.
Do you have your book?
No, I don't.
We're on vacation. We don't have our book. But we have a beautiful, it's called the Build Well Organizer, and it is a connection or contact book. It's not a planner, like it's not like a calendar planner.
Right.
It is designed specifically to track your contacts. So any leads that you make, what you sampled them, how you sampled them, you know, what you chatted about, the best way to contact them. And then it has spots to track all your enrollments, and then your builders as well. And then promotions and incentives and different things that you've run, you can keep track of. It's nice to keep notes of those, because you won't remember what month you ran it in, how successful it was, what did doTERRA offer, why was my volume good that month, why was my volume not good that month, you know, that kind of thing. So we have that, and it can be found on our website on livenaturallytools.com. It was just refreshed like a month ago, and it is gorgeous. And that's really awesome. It's really awesome if you're a pen and paper kind of person. If not, I know lots of people develop their own spreadsheets.
Spreadsheet it up.
You spreadsheet it up all day. You do that. I like paper. I like pens. I like books. I'm like so old school. But really, I do, because I'm always I want to put in the little notes, you know, like I want to put in the little details, and I function so much better with that kind of a system. So anyway, you can find that. I think you can buy 4, get 1 free with those books. They make great gifts, like Christmas gifts or convention gifts for your builders too. Yeah. So check those out, and you get free shipping on anything over $50 on the website. So you can totally, you know, snag up a chunky order for, you know, free shipping, which is awesome. So
yeah. Okay. I love this next question. I'm excited about it. So this lady asks, what are your thoughts, opinions on doing make and takes for intro classes? I love getting oils in people's hands, but then I found it very difficult to get any enrollments. They're content with the samples they've made for $20 instead of getting a kit. Okay. Make and takes for intro classes do not work. I can't emphasize that enough. You can't charge for something and expect them to also enroll and buy a kit. Now, if you're doing it as a way to educate about oils, then I think it's great. You know, I think if you are getting people who've already had that kind of foundational information and they're coming back, maybe they could be bring your own oils events, and they just paid a small amount for the supplies. That's totally fine. But make and takes are a lot of work, and you don't often see result. Now, what we have started to do, and I have loved it, it's so fun, got the idea from Jody Hoffman, who is awesome, is we have, at the beginning of our class, we'll do a little make and take, but it's not a paid make and take. So when everyone comes in this super awkward time at the beginning, they can choose one. I just bring 3. So it's super simple, 3 rollers that they can make, and they're not things that they would get in their intro kit. You know, it's like a romance roller. That's always really fun, you know, or a mood roller, you know, and it's oils that wouldn't necessarily be in the kit.
The labels from last year, right? Have you been using those, like Hot Mess?
Yes,
Snooze?
Hot Mess, Snooze, Fresh. Those are 3 that are beautiful and they're great, you know. Or we have that Valentine's line. I'll use that label. That's a really nice one. And so we have them. I have them set up. I tell them what they are, and they can choose which one they want to make, and then they just make their roller, and I let them do it. So I'm like, okay, you follow this recipe, you drop the oils in. It's getting me interacting with them. I'm finding out, do they have experience with oils before? store, and that's their gift. Okay, so they take that home. You can do it really inexpensively. You can use the recipes that we have, or you can do a different recipe. It does not have to be that recipe. If you don't have those oils, there's tons of them that you can find online. And so that it cuts the beginning awkwardness. It gets them using oils and gets you talking. And gets their hands, in it. And then you can call it a make and take, because they are making and they are taking, but it's an intro class. Then you sit down and you do your intro class. And then if you want to, and I've done it both ways, where I've done this and where I haven't, either way I would say works about the same. So just do what you want. But you can have it be an enrollment incentive for them to be able to take the other two, make the other two, and take them home if they enroll with a kit that night. Okay, you can do that. I usually for sure send them home with one of the beginner's guides. That's what, and the other thing that I give when people enroll. So that's a way that I incorporate make and takes, and that is the only way that I use make and takes, honestly. It's just,
and it's so smart. I was just mentoring a few of our Diamond Clubbers that are starting Diamond Club tomorrow. And I was telling them about this, and I was like, if you have, your 3 recipes that you start every class with, and you have your labels, your oils, your coconut oil, you have like your little box, like it's ready to go all the time.
Yes.
So you're not like make and takes in general to me are like so much work. It gives me a little bit of anxiety. Like I'm starting to sweat right now thinking about it. I'm like, oh, geez. Because, like, we're not doing, like, salts and sugar scrubs and whips and, you know, all the things, sunscreen. That's, like, the messiest make and take ever.
Your beaters at home.
Yeah, like, none of that is happening. It's just 3 rollers. So you have your box of rollers. You got your labels. You got your coconut oil and your oils, and it's ready to go. So, like, every time you have a class, you just grab your box and you go. At the end of that class, when you get home, you can refresh it, make sure it's ready for the next one. But it's going to make it so seamless and simple.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, I would say it's so much easier to pack your classes if you say, everyone gets to make a roller at this class, bring a friend.
Yes.
And so every time you have a class or a one-on-one, start saying, bring a friend, bring a friend, bring a friend, bring a friend. And that way your classes are going to be maximized, and then when they come, okay, so I go to a class and I invite my friend Ginna and she comes and we both leave with a romance roller. And then we were like, well, heck, let's just enroll. And then we leave with 3 rollers. Now we already know how to make rollers, which is a huge thing.
Yes.
Okay. We understand you can mix and you need to dilute. We understand all of that. We understand what glassware is, because we even say glassware is so cheap. Get some glassware. People are like, what's glassware?
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about? Wine glasses? Like, it doesn't make any sense if you're not an oiler. And so we've done that together. And then the host says, do you want to, or the teacher of the classes, do you want to have a class? And I'm thinking, like, this was so fun. We had so much fun. I want to host a class. And then we can bring our friends. We should host a class together because we have mutual friends, And so all of a sudden you're booking classes because everyone is having such a good experience. So those of you that like love make and takes, this will scratch that itch without the stress of it. And it will lead you to more enrollments and more classes, which that is what makes you guys money. Okay.
Yes.
So it's wonderful. And I keep sharing it. I'm like, listen, do it this way. Let's do it this way. It's really fun. It's just proven. Okay. It's proven to work.
Yes.
And that's what we want. We want to do best practice, so you're not spinning your wheels all month long. So
totally. Now, another thing that I am really excited to start incorporating at my next class is I heard this from Melina Harrison on the Summer of Success. She did the call last week, and it was such a great idea. What she does is she will get RSVPs from the host prior to the class, and then she will call the people who've RSVP'd to just say, I'm so excited to meet you at the class. We have limited time together, and so I just wanted to find out what types of things are you interested in hearing about.
Smart.
And so they'll tell her in advance, because I do this in my class. It's like a great part of the class is getting that class feedback. But if you can do it ahead of time, it just increases their buy-in. It increases the chance that they're going to come to that class. And then she just says, okay, we're definitely going to talk about that. I'm actually going to have a little gift for you. I'm really excited to meet you. And so if you mentioned pain, she's going to bring a Deep Blue Rub sample, or you can gear your 3 rollers to the things that you hear about. And then when people come, you've already talked to them, their names, and you can just be like, oh, Jody, I brought these 3 rollers. You can make whichever one, but I'd recommend from what we talked about, you should make this one. This is the one that you should make. And so I just think that's a great way to increase engagement. You already know kind of what the issues are. And so that was was just a tip from Melina
Yeah.
that I thought was really money.
That's money.
Yeah.
Melina's smart. You
Totally.
guys. She's a smart cookie. And I just think if you're going to have like 4 to 6 classes a month, which if you're building, you know, we always say if you have less than 4 a month, you're not building, you know, like you have got to at least teach 4 times a month. So once a week you have a class and you do all those things. You call them ahead of time. You have a fun little make and take. You tell them to bring friends. You rock a class. Like that's all. Your business is going to grow a lot if you really maximize a class. Now, if you don't do any of those things and you just hope and pray and cross your fingers and hope someone shows up and no one does, and it's your one class for the week, you're going to deflate quickly.
Yeah,
like I feel deflated thinking about that, you know? And so why put in all this time and effort? Why, you know, go to all these lengths if you're not going to actually maximize it and get some butts in the seats, you know?
Definitely.
And not just butts, but qualified butts, you
qualified
know?
butts.
Qualify those
good
butts.
You want good butts.
You know, like well-rounded, prepped butts for the class, you know? I mean, and then you're going to knock it out of the park, and then you're going to walk out with a higher enrollment rate. You're going to make good money. It's just, it's all worth it. But you got to skill up in these things, you know? Because educating people on oils in the form of classes or one-on-ones, whatever you're doing, it's never going to go out of style. Like all of a sudden we're never going to stop educating. Yeah. You know, that's the basis of this business. So you can do it in different ways, but you have to educate well. Right. And you have to do it with some prep, you know, and follow up there. So yeah. That was fun.
Yes. Okay. So a couple more here. Last week, Michelle talked about the importance of sharers. I was a bit unclear how they get their oils paid for by being the middleman. Can you please explain a little bit more about this? Thanks in advance.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Michelle's Tipster Tuesday, so maybe she'll pop on and be able to like expand on that because I'm not sure the context of the question. But usually if someone's sharing and hosting a class and they're sharing for the purpose of getting their oils paid for, then their enrollments are theirs.
Yes.
And so like they're going to be making fast start on that, you know? And I would just say, man, those are valuable people. Yep. They are so valuable. We have people in our organization that are in key spots, but they're not necessarily builders. And I love that. I'm like, listen, refer people to me, host classes. Like, I will take good care of you. Oh, Oil Magic by Michelle just joined. Ooh. Michelle, there's a question for you. Do you want to read it again just so she hears it?
Oh, sure. Okay. So last week, Michelle talked about the importance of sharers. I was a bit unclear how they get their oils paid for by being the middleman. Can you please explain a little bit more about this? Thanks in advance. Now, I mean, I think probably it's just going to depend how you do it. I mean, if you have a class host that that is hosting a class and you're giving them a gift, you're not giving them the enrollments, then, you know, they could help get their oils paid for because you're giving them free product for the class, you know? So there's different ways to do it. It depends on how you are structuring it, what your relationship is with them. But usually sharers are like, they're in between users and builders. So I would call just a standard class host someone who is not a sharer or a builder. That's the person that I would keep the enrollments. I would give them a gift. Okay, that to me isn't a share. A share I would probably give the class for that purpose, but then you don't have to be giving them a big gift. If they're getting you know, those enrollments, and that it really just depends on where they're at in your organization. Because there may be places, there are key places in your organization that you don't mind if they keep hosting classes, but they don't want to learn how to teach, and you're willing to, you know, to go there and keep teaching for them because you really need that spot to grow. And that's great. But if there are in other places in your organization where you can't justify the time, you know, to go and do that, then, you know, if they want to host the class, they're going to have to teach the class is kind of the thing. So it really just depends. With that question, there's no hard and fast answer. Really, the answer is it depends, you know, and you have to decide what is going to be best for each unique situation.
Speaking of Michelle, there was a question on either Facebook or Instagram about like how do we scale up in social media? And through Live Naturally Tools, we have Michelle Cannon who has a coaching program through us. You can get it on our website. It's an 8-week program. We just changed the format up. So it's like a work as you go, like you can watch all 8 in a day if you want to, or you can, you know, spread it out however, but even within that, you get a 30-minute call with Michelle, like a one-on-one where she'll go through your Instagram with you and give you feedback and stuff like that. And then you are also part of a private Facebook group for everyone who's taken this social media course. So you guys can follow each other on social media. You can interact, you can trade tricks, you know, and just give each other encouragement, because we're all in this together. We're a big community. So you can find that coaching on livenaturallytools.com. And you can go in and purchase it right now. And then you get that one-on-one time with Michelle too. So that's probably the best way to beef up your social media, is actually get intentional about it. Especially if you're like me. Like, I could sit down and figure things out, but I much prefer someone showing me what to do.
Yes.
You know, and if someone shows me what to do, then I can run with it. But I don't, like, starting something that feels foreign to me is a little bit tricky. And then having feedback from someone who is like clearly successful in this, which Michelle has been since day one. And she has started, like, she didn't have a following before this or anything like that. She started social media and growing her business in that way. And now she grows her business in lots of ways. She's not just sitting back on Instagram, you know, which is honestly a ton of work. But she's not just doing that. She's doing loads of things, but she can help you kind of tweak it and hone in your skills and things like that, give you great feedback, so that no matter where you go on Instagram or social media, every time you see someone advertising doTERRA, we represent doTERRA so well, right? They're like, why is everyone's picture so great? Why is their text and their fonts so great? You know, their message is so clear. Like, these are important things. Like, you can post on Instagram all day long and create nothing, you know, and get nothing from it. And so being strategic on that is going to be key. So if that interests you at all, you can dive into that training at any time. So once you purchase it, it's $199. Once you purchase it, you automatically are given the content, and you can start like plugging in today. So
yeah, great. All right.
Any questions?
I think that was it. So
I know somebody like commented like oils in the bedroom, but like that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
And that wasn't really a question, although I appreciate the comment. And yes, oils in the bedroom.
That's all we have to say about that.
Just go try it.
Okay, well, you have a pop-up shop at convention. Yes, we're partnered with Your Oil Tools, and so Your Oil Tools will have our products at convention, so you can find their booths and you can go there and you can see our stuff. So
yep, and we're speaking 2 times.
Yes,
Jen and I are both speaking on Tuesday for Your Oil Tools. Are hosting like a leader training.
Business training.
I forget what it's called.
Yep. If you are on our email list, you would have gotten an email, the newsletter this week with the links to both of them. There's one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday, and we're speaking at both of them. Otherwise, we will post the links to both events in Live Naturally system.
Yeah, so there's no Live Naturally training at convention. We're not doing a whole day just of us, but we're speaking at 2 different trainings, Tuesday and Wednesday both. And I believe there's tickets available still for both. So we'll repost those links in our Facebook group. But again, what Ginna said, I think a lot of you don't know, but we do have I would say it comes out 2 to 3 times a month, a newsletter.
Yep.
It's not spammy. You know, it's like really, really fun. I mean,
sometimes we send out special discount.
Yeah.
Like,
or special tips. Like sometimes there'll be like 5 tips, you know, about something, but they only come out in our email list. So you want to jump into that. And then we'll update you on convention stuff and things like that through there as well. So anyway,
the water is calling my name
for joining us. We got to go pick up a boat, and our kids, all 8 of our kids are here right now, and they have left us alone so that we can.
They've been so quiet.
Yes, I don't even know where they are.
I know, it's amazing.
But they're not in the water because we can see the water. So don't worry, those of you that are like, oh my gosh, find your children. And we do have husbands, and our graphic designer is here too. She's amazing with our kids. But anyway, we got to go get a boat, and we got to get on the boat.
Right.
So have fun, friends. We love you.
Bye.
See you next week.
I have no idea how to stop this.
End.
There it is. All right.
Yes, that was good. That was fun.
Oh,
we're not ended. Maybe we're not.